This is where the Farage controversy gets awkward. Farage skipped his own Clacton victory count, blaming security concerns. But Essex police said they had not advised any candidate to stay away. So when Richard Tice appeared on Nick Ferrari's show to defend him, Ferrari had one simple question. Which explanation are we supposed to believe? Was it a genuine security concern, or did Farage simply not want to face an embarrassing scene at the count? And as Ferrari pressed Tice for a straight answer, the Reform UK deputy leader began struggling to explain the contradiction. Let's hear it.
Nick, the other key moment of this by-election is that Farage was a no-show. We were expecting him to turn up here, to come and do his celebratory speech. We were all gearing up for his arrival, but he claims that he was advised not to come by Essex police because he says there was an organised campaign to disrupt and degrade the result.
I'm not scared of these people, far from it. But I'm damned if I'm going to stand on a stage having won a resounding victory, a ringing endorsement of all that I've tried to fight for and you try to fight for, and be demeaned and humiliated by nobodies, and I will not, sadly, be attending the count, which means I'm going to be here all night.
And Nick, the plot thickens and the confusion continues because Essex police have a completely different version of events. Essex police said it had a proportionate and robust policing operation to ensure that the safety and security of all participants were upheld. But here's the killer line. LBC understands that Essex police did not advise any candidate not to attend the count. Questions now arising as to why Farage took that very unusual decision not to turn up to his own count today. Why did he decide instead to go to a so-called Farage fest outside of Clacton to party with his supporters?
Shivani Sharma, LBC's East England correspondent, reporting 9 after 7. Let's put some of those questions now to Richard Tice, who is Deputy Leader of Reform UK and, of course, a Reform UK MP who joins me now. Thank you for your time, Mr Tice. We'll talk about the impact of the result in a moment, but can you just clear up, why was Mr Farage not at the count last night or the early hours of this morning? Morning.
Good morning. Because his security team were very concerned about a credible threat to his security, and with the greatest of respect, I would suggest to anybody, I don't think anybody should have the temerity to question our judgments and our security team's judgment about security and safety. People have no idea
what was
the
the
level
official
of threats and risk that we face.
Mr Tice, what was the official guidance from Essex Police?
I don't know what the official guidance was. The point is, Nick, ultimately, it's not the police who decide as to whether or not Nigel is kept safe. It is his security team. They are tasked with keeping him safe and secure and bluntly alive, and I respect their judgment in preference to anybody else's judgment.
In preference to Essex Police saying they had a robust police operation in place?
That's lovely if they did. Good for them. Ultimately, it's Nigel's team who are tasked with keeping him safe, secure and alive. And I would just gently suggest to you, let's trust them, shall we?
And just lastly, before we get to the result, this appears also to be at odds because we heard Mr Farage said he would not be attending because he didn't want it to be demeaned and humiliated. So that's nothing to do with his safety. He doesn't want to stand next to someone dressed as a dustbin. So we have two lines going here, Mr Tice.
Nick, Nigel has just won an outstanding victory. He's got... Voters in Clacton have said we want more Nigel, not less Nigel. He's secured 63% of the votes, 1,000 more votes than last time on a much lower turnout.
Yes, we will get to that. But he's not, Mr Tice. Mr Tice. It would have been quite extraordinary if your colleague, Mr Tice, it would have been quite extraordinary if your colleague had lost. We will, in a moment, talk about the percentages and all of that. But is it because he didn't want to be demeaned and humiliated, as he said, or you're now telling that it's his security team who overrode Essex Police? Which is it?
I've just told you. I'm delighted to tell you again. I trust the judgment of Nigel's security team above everybody else.
So his suggestion he would be demeaned and humiliated is nonsensical.
If you're going to ask me a question, do me the courtesy of letting me answer it. I've just told you, let's trust Nigel's security team to keep him safe, secure and alive.
Why did he say he would feel demeaned and humiliated in attending then?
That's got nothing to do with the security point. They are separate
No, but
points.
why did he say that?
I don't know, Nick.
But isn't that the whole political process?
No,
the man who went on to be
no.
Prime Minister was happy to share a stage with a man dressed as a dustbin.
You're happy for him to go to an event and potentially, in some way, to have some security.
No, Mr. Tice.
I do think,
Mr. Tice, I'm talking about the aspect of being. Mr. Tice, no, with respect, I'm talking about the point of being demeaned and humiliated. So the man who went on to be Prime Minister is happy to share a stage with a candidate, a rival dressed as a dustbin, but Nigel Farage is not, because he would be demeaned and humiliated. That's a strange look, isn't it, for a man who presumably wants to be Prime Minister?
He does want to be Prime Minister, but to do that, you have to remain safe, secure and alive. And bluntly, that is the important thing, over and above the result, which I'm sure we're going to talk about now.
Yes, let's talk about it. A few more votes than last time out. Is this
on a much lower turnout?
Yes,
so
a lower turnout, because I could argue people weren't that interested, Mr. Tice. A lower turnout.
Well, that's the nature of by-elections. You always get a lower turnout. So therefore, to secure about a 5% increase in the number of votes cast is an outstanding result. I would suggest probably unprecedented. And that shows that the good constituents of Clacton, they have said, in the face of an absolute onslaught from the media and the establishment, they've said, actually, thanks, but we want more Nigel. More Nigel, not less Nigel. And therefore, it's the establishment and the mainstream media who've been humiliated by this result.
Well, isn't the reality, when you say they want more Nigel, they may well indeed have more Nigel, because if these parliamentary inquiries find against him, they could be doing it all again within a matter of weeks, Mr. Tice. Another by-election.
And how ridiculous would that be? How stupid would that make the establishment look if they choose to do that? And what a discourtesy from the main parties, right? If there's a by-election, for the other main parties, the Labour and the Tories and the Lib Dems, they bottled it like cowards because they didn't want to lose to Nigel. So they said, they threw their toys out the pram and said, we're not going to play.
So if, and I stress the word if, Mr. Farage is found guilty of anything, and to the level of suspension that it requires a by-election, that is the establishment's fault, is it?
Well, it will be the commissioner that makes that recommendation to the committee, who then make a recommendation to the House of Commons on the number of days that may, as you say, if.
I know.
But at least you had the courtesy to say if, unlike many senior politicians like Kemi Badenoch, who've said when. In other words, he's guilty already before a decision's been made, which proves my point and our concern about an establishment stitch-up. Essentially, this may be a predetermined...
And there you have it. The problem for Reform UK is simple. They demand accountability from everyone else. But when the questions turn toward them, suddenly it's an establishment stitch-up. Nick Ferrari was asking basic questions about the contradictions surrounding Farage's absence, yet Tice struggled to give a straight answer. If Reform UK wants to be taken seriously, they can't demand scrutiny for others, and then complain when the spotlight turns on them. And there you have it. The problem for Reform UK is simple. They demand accountability from everyone else. But when the questions turn toward them, suddenly it's an establishment stitch-up. Nick Ferrari was asking basic questions about the contradictions surrounding Farage's absence, yet Tice struggled to give a straight answer. If Reform UK wants to be taken seriously, they can't demand scrutiny for others, and then complain when the spotlight turns on them.